How you doing? Homestead Ed here. Well, I hope everybody had a great Christmas, and I'd like to wish you all a very happy New Year. It's January 2nd, and I've been on vacation for 12 days. I've really been enjoying myself. Kind of dreading going back to work tomorrow, but it is what it is. So anyhow, my wife had to go back to work today, and she said, Ed, I guess, you can make me a nice dinner for when I get home from work. I had no clue as to what to do, so I took a look in the freezer, and I found she has some chopped meat in there. She's got a bunch of things. And what's great about this, and this is a really smart thing to do, my wife will buy the big family pack of chopped meat, and then she breaks it up into 1 pound containers, wraps it up in some saran wrap, puts it in a freezer bag, and freezes them separately. So you can always pop this out and make whatever you wanted. So I got to thinking meatloaf. What I plan on doing is making some meatloaf. I grabbed out 2 of these, so it's going to be 2 pounds of chopped meat. I've got some potatoes and some onions in the back. I'm going to do some scalloped potatoes with them, and I think it's going to be nice. So stick around, I'll show you how it goes. So Janice is still at work, and God never gave the dogs thumbs, so they're pretty useless when it comes to helping out making a video. So it's just me here, left alone. I figured what I do, I got the ingredients all set up. I figured I'd show you the different ingredients. We'll talk a little bit about how to make this. And then I'll put the camera down, I'll make this up, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So the first thing you notice is I got an egg sitting over there. That's for the meatloaf. You want 1 egg in with your meatloaf. It's 2 pounds of meat, 1 egg. You want a cup of breadcrumbs. I didn't have any. Normally I go to the store and get those seasoned breadcrumbs really cheap. I didn't have any, but I did have some leftover Italian bread from Christmas, and it's all dried out. So I just chopped that up a bit, made it into breadcrumbs, and then I seasoned it a bit. I put some salt, pepper, whatever you want, oregano, whatever you got, whatever you like, I put in there. Got a bottle of that garlic. Now you could use fresh garlic. Fresh garlic is great. I love this stuff. When you're pressed, you buy a thing of this minced garlic, and it lasts forever, and it's great. I'm probably gonna put about a tablespoon of garlic in with that meatloaf, but you could put less. Salt and pepper, do that to taste like anything else. Cup of onions is what you want for your meatloaf. That's more than a cup you see sitting there. That's because I like sprinkling a little bit on my scalloped potatoes, so that's why I made a little more. The butter, that's for the scalloped potatoes. The meat, we know that's for the meatloaf. Over here, you got some ketchup. That's about a cup of ketchup. About 2 to 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, and 2 to 3 tablespoons of prepared mustard, whatever kind of mustard you like. Now, some people like brown meatloaf, some people like red meatloaf. I like them both. This is basically a red meatloaf. It's spiced up just a little bit because of the brown sugar and the ketchup. Not the ketchup, the mustard, I'm sorry. And that's about it for that. Here's my scalloped potatoes getting ready to go. So what I did, you just cut them into slices. I filled the bottom of the casserole dish. To this I'm going to add some butter. Just basically cover it up with, with butter chunks. Some flour, that's really the key to it. I love the flour because that makes it, gives it some texture. Salt and pepper. Then I'll put and a little bit of onions. Now the onions, lots of people don't like it. I like it. I'll put a little bit of onions on there. Throw the rest of the potatoes in there. Then a little bit more butter. And cover it all with milk. I don't want to make it overflowing with milk, or it will spill over. It'll boil over when you cook it. Oh, and I forgot one ingredient right there, Worcestershire sauce. That I'm going to add both to my sauce that I'm going to put on top of the meatloaf. Probably about a tablespoon in there, and probably about a tablespoon right into the meat. And that's it. All I have to do now is get my hands in there, mush all this stuff together, put it in that loaf pan, pop it in the oven. We'll put it in there between 350 375 for about an hour it takes. What I normally do is I will take this sauce, I will normally put in a saucepan, warm it up a little just to get the brown sugar to move around in there. you know. Then I'll pour a little over the top, throw this in the oven for about a half an hour. And after half an hour, maybe 40 minutes, I put the rest of the sauce on and cook it to the end. The potatoes, I generally put them in right away, just because I want them to cook good. So I generally put them in right away. You could wait 15 minutes or so if you want with the potatoes. Okay, let me get my hands dirty and I'll show you what it looks like. I'm just about there. I got all my stuff put together. This is the sauce or the gravy that's going to go on top of the meatloaf. I just put this on low, and it's really just to mix the brown sugar in with the ketchup and the mustard and the Worcestershire, just to get it all mixed in good. So that's just about done. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about a third of that and dump it on top of the meatloaf, and then we're going to pop that into the oven. After about 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes, I'll pour the rest of it on there. And here's my scalloped potatoes. Now you might notice those chunks of butter sitting on top of the scalloped potatoes. Normally I put the butter in on the first level. The majority of the butter on the first level. I forgot. So, you know, it's not science. If you forget, you just stick it in there afterwards. I used about a half a stick of butter in with that. And this I'm going to cover with tin foil. Some people will wait. I'm probably going to put this in just about the same time as the meatloaf itself. Meatloaf cooks for an hour on like 350, between 350 and 375. I like my potatoes done good, so I'll probably put it in around the same time. The only thing you want to watch with this is you don't fill it up with too much milk. You don't want it to boil over. Just keep an eye on it. So here we go. We got a little bit of extra sauce. There's our meatloaf, scalloped potatoes, and just some spinach over there. Let me put a plate together and show you what it looks like. So nothing super fancy, but let me tell you, it's delicious. Give it a shot. Thanks for watching this video.